What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Sammy Says, back finally with another review for Chief of War. I know it's been a minute. Life has been life, and I'm sure it has for everybody, but I'm back at it, back on track, and I want to finish this series. There's so many episodes out, and I don't like to watch the next one until I review it first, so I'm behind. So let's catch up. So, episode 2 opens in the kingdom of Maui. We meet a new character. We meet the princess, Princess Kaʻiana, and she's actually a secret princess. We learn she's been living in the kingdom of Maui in secrecy. Her mother is the sister of King Unk, but she fell in love with and produced her daughter with one of the chiefs of Hawaii. And you know, Maui and Hawaii, all the kingdoms are at war. So this was forbidden love. And so they kept it secret. And the princess has been raised in secrecy and constant fear of getting found out by the king. We open up on the scene meeting the princess. She's standing looking out at the water. And we learn that she's very intelligent. She was asking questions about astrology and legends and stars and stuff, which is traditionally only men were educated in those things. Her father comes to visit, though, an unexpected visit. He comes in, greets the mom and greets the princess and says that, look, Maui just came and attacked Oahu unprovoked, so war is about to break off. Maui's going to close their shores soon, so I'm not going to be able to come back and forth, so I'm going to take you with me to Hawaii. She's like, well, Hawaii is not going to accept us. I'm from Maui. But the father says that he promised her hand in marriage to another one of the chiefs on his war council in Hawaii. She doesn't really like this, obviously. We're women, it's 18th century. What choice do we really have? Your dad says you got to marry this stranger, you got to go. So she's upset about it, but she kind of walks off or storms off. But then the mom and the dad talk, and you can see that there is actually genuine love there. I don't know how much time they get to spend together. I'm like, can you take the mama too? Like, look, I'll talk to her. I'll get her ready to go. Back in Oahu, King Unk and his forces are finishing, burning, burying up all the people that they slaughtered in Oahu. And you can tell the prince he is really not feeling it. So he goes and talks to his dad and he's like, look, dad, you lied flat out. You lied to get us here. This don't feel like no prophecy. You didn't receive a prophecy telling you to come here. Like, this was a lie. These people were not preparing to wage war on Maui. Why did you do that? And the king's like, look, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get power. So yeah, there's a prophecy. I just put myself in the prophecy. Shoot, I am the prophecy now. I'm going to make it come true. I'm going to do whatever I need to do for power. And this does not sit right with the prince. You can tell he is really like, oh, I don't like this. J-Mo and the fam are still, on Oahu as well. And they're really unhappy. So they're all kind of sitting down like, we got to get the hell out of here, man. I am not down with this. I didn't come here to be a mercenary. This is not what we agreed upon. King Unk summons, J-Mo, because obviously he's like the leader of his family or whatever. He summons him to come meet me in the temple. He want to talk to him. J-Mo's like, look, fam, I got this. I'm going to go meet with him. We're going to get out of here. So he goes, and you could see right hand and all the troops are, leading King Unk to the temple. And he goes in there and he's calling for J-Mo. He's like, hey, where you at? And then he sees in the temple on the altar that he has left his club, his father's club that they had given back to him. He left it there, broken in half. So that was basically his resignation. Look, I put in my resignation effective immediately. I'm not down with this. I'm not following you. And of course, the king is outraged. Everybody looking for him. They find that they go back to where the family was. They didn't kill 2 of the guards and slipped away. And so the king is like, look, we going to have to sweep. We got all the ships and stuff. They probably ain't got nothing but a rowboat. So we can find them, sweep all the oceans. And right hand pull him aside. He like, look, king, we know where they're going. They left, the wifey left her sister back in Maui. So they ain't going to go nowhere without her. They're going to go to Maui first and try and get the sister. So we can accost them there. We got the ships. We can probably beat them there. So king is like, cool. Yep. Hunt them down. Go get them. Prince is like, all right, we'll go get him. And nobody kill him. Bring him back to me. And the king is like, hold up. Prophecy just spoke to me and said that we don't need him. We just need his bones, because the magic will still work. The prophecy will still come true if we just have his bones. So you could kill him. Sure, go ahead and kill him. Just bring me his bones. I'm like, this dude is scared. He's scared because he know this man is tough and he know he did wrong and he doesn't want to face up to it. But nah, go ahead and bring me his bones. So he's scared. Prince is peeping and he like, yeah, okay. So we catch up to the fam and it's raining, it's storming. They in that same boat that they were in at the beginning when they was hunting sharks. They was in the Moana boat. It's open, right? They just rowing, paddling, and it's in the storm. But they like, look, we got to get out of here. We got to get back to Maui and get Sister Girl. So they're rowing, and you can hear bells like from a ship. They don't see anything though because it's stormy, and it's dark. But they definitely hear something. But they're like, okay, whatever. We just gonna keep going. So as soon as they touch down on Maui, I mean, no time to rest, no time to pee, nothing. They just they go take off looking for Heke, looking for the sister. And they frantically search and call her name, and they discover, okay, what day is it? She's out in the valley. She's planting, doing whatever. She's in tune with nature and harvesting and stuff. So she's out here in this valley planting. So they're gonna plan to retrieve her. But while they're walking around looking, J-Mo comes across one of the troops, one of the king's troops, because of course, as soon as they touch down, the king and them touch down on another shore. So it's a race, it's a race at this point to see who can get to the sister first, and then who can, they looking for J-Mo. So J-Mo and one of the troops kind of come face to face, and they're like, oh shit, it's like a standoff, and they both like kind of get their weapons ready or whatever. And I will say, of course, because they don't have like modern weapons, guns or anything, they had clubs, spears, that kind of thing. Probably the most effective weapon that they had was the rope rock. A rock on a rope. You would think like, okay, so basic or whatever, but they are lethal within rope rocks. And so, of course, J-Mo has one, and just as he's about to, kind of charge at the troop, he takes out running and he yelling like, hey, yo, he over here, I found him. J-Mo, swing the little rope rock and hem him up or whatever, but not before the prince and right hand and all the troops, the king's men, heard him. And so J-Mo is hauling ass. He's running. And J-Mo decides to lead them away from the fam, so he like, all right, I'm going to distract them or whatever. So he leads them away while the fam is going to continue to go to this valley and go get Heke. So the prince and right hand and the king's men are just chasing J-Mo down through these woods, through the jungle, and they swinging on vines, Tarzan style, and they cascading and skateboarding down tree, not really, but that's what it looked like. And I'm just astounded because number one, don't none of them got shoes on. So your feet must be leather. I mean, you running over rocks and sticks and terrain and scaling down mountainsides and no shoes, barefoot as hell. And then also on top of that, cardio. Jesus Christ, you got to be in shape to live in the 1800s because and be a soldier, because they was running. And I give it up, even right hand, who I hate, but he a little bit older, he ain't no spring chicken. That boy got cardio on lock. So they was chasing, they was right on J-Mo's ass, but eventually they came to a pass where like they wasn't sure what direction he went. And so the troops split up. So the prince and a few troops went this way, right hand and a few troops went this way. The prince tells right hand, look, if you catch up to him, bring him to me. Don't kill him. Right hand, like, yeah, okay. But he like, man, if I see him, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I don't understand why he has this vendetta. I don't understand why it's personal with J-Mo, but I guess we'll find out later. Meanwhile, we flip back to the ocean, and the ship that we saw in the storm the previous night, we now see that it belonged to a crew of English sailors. So for the first time in the show, we actually hear English because of course, up until now, they've been speaking in Hawaiian. So now we hear English, and it's a whole bunch of white men, and they're rowing ashore, so they take the little smaller boats and they row ashore from the big ship. And there's one black man with them, I'm assuming, given the time that he's probably a slave. And so they're rowing ashore. The captain is like, look, we're going to be in and out. We just need to get water, get food, refreshments, replenishments, and then we're going to head back to the boat. Try not to come into contact with anyone, any of the natives.
Don't fire your weapons unless absolutely necessary. We need to fill this for the rest of our voyage. So keep your eyes open.
And the captain says something. He's like, we don't want to end up like Cook. I don't know who Cook is, but put a pin right there because he'll come up later. The princess, meanwhile, she's just about ready, getting ready. Her mom is talking to herself, getting ready to prepare her to be a wife, go on this next phase of her journey. But before she leaves, she wants to go meet up with the prophetess, with Taula, the prophetess, to see if she has any words of encouragement or wisdom because Princess has no idea what's going on. She doesn't know this man. She doesn't know. She's never been to the island of Hawaii. She's never left Maui. She's never left the secrecy that she's been raised in Maui. So, of course, she's scared. So she goes to Taula, and Taula's always on the beach. I'm like, does she have an office? Is this her office? Is this on this same shoreline, this beach? And you walk out there, and the princess is kind of standing looking around. And then prophetess just appears out of nowhere. I'm like, look, ma'am, I know you're a prophetess and all that, but you got feet, right? Like it wasn't no footprints. Like you still have to anyway, whatever. She just be appearing out of nowhere. I'm gonna need her to have a bell because that would scare the crap out of me. Princess asks her, look, all this is about to happen. Am I gonna be happy? Am I gonna have a happy life? Prophetess tells her, look, you're gonna disappoint your father, you're gonna disappoint your husband because you're not going to bear him an heir. And Princess is like, well, damn, that's my whole job as a woman is to bear children for your husband. And this time you didn't have no other job. So I'm done then. I'm lost. But the prophetess tells her there's several paths that can lead to unhappiness. There's one that appears toward happiness and purpose, and you'll be accompanied by a guide. So keep a lookout. As Tyler turns to leave, she stops and she gets a sudden vision. And she's like, hold up. The gods are scared. They're afraid of you. They feel like you're going to you're going to break this world. And Princess is like, what the hell? What does that mean? Why are you speaking in riddles? So we leave off there. I don't know what that means. Princess don't know what that means. I don't even know if prophetess know what that means. We come up on Heke, sis, and she's happily gardening. She's like, la, 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 singing, whatever. And the fam finds her. And so they're like hugging and like, oh my God, girl, I'm so glad we found you. Look, we in danger. We got to go now. They had a meetup point, and so hopefully, J-Mo is going to meet up with them there. So we cut back to J-Mo. He's still running. I'm like, cardio. And right hand pull out one of them rope rocks. Pop! And like hits him in the head. So now he bleeding, J-Mo is bleeding and stuff, probably concussed, but he's still up and trying to run. He hiding in the tall grass and Prince and Right Hand and all the troops are trying to, there's a real tense scene where he's hiding in the grass and he throws like a pig, like a baby piglet to kind of provide a distraction because he knows like if the baby's here, the mama probably is nearby. And of course, boars are notoriously aggressive and territorial. And so, him creating a distraction with the baby, it caused the mama board to charge, and she charged at a couple of them soldiers and took them out, and then he was able to get away. J-Mo was able to get away. So he goes and you could see he turning fuzzy, it's getting black at the edges. This man is about to pass out. He is concussed from that rope rock. And he finds a cave, and so he's in the cave and he's like just trying to get some water, and he's like, oh my God, and that's of course happens to be the cave that Princess is in. And she's like, hey, are you okay? I can help you. And he like, look, you probably don't want to help me. It's people after me, the king's men. Like they probably gonna hurt you if they find out you help me. Like, it's all right. And she's like, look, I've been living in fear of the king my whole life. Come on, I'll show you where to go. They ain't gonna find you. And so she takes him further into the cave. And they kind of get, she kind of nurses him because he passes out. I mean, he hurt. And so he passes out. And she's, kind of tending to his wounds and trying to, wipe his brow and whatever until so that he can rest and kind of look out for him. Meanwhile, Prince and Right Hand are still searching. They kind of feeling a little defeated because they lost him, and so they're like, oh, where's he at? They're kind of standing up, kind of conferring with one another. Right Hand is like, look, he just out there, he is mocking us, he laughing at us, we looking for him, all the king's men can't find one man and he laughing at us. And the prince is like, look, I don't think it's that deep, he just trying to survive, he in survival mode. Again, I hope that we find out what happened between Right Hand and J-Mo, or maybe he had issues with J-Mo's father. Maybe he's the one that really killed J-Mo's father. I don't know. We don't know, but I hope that they explain it because this man is taking this personally. J-Mo wakes up in the cave. He kind of jolts awake and he's still, a little disoriented. And he's like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta go. And I gotta go meet up with my family. And Princess is like, whoa, hold him up. You still very much concussed, sir. Why don't you have a little something to eat here? And so they introduce themselves to each other. The princess explains who she is, that she's really the niece of King Unk, and he doesn't know about her, and she's been living in secret, but she's about to go to Hawaii. J-Mo explains that, he used to serve King Unk, and he's defected from his service. And he's like, I ain't going back. So she's like, look, why don't y'all come to Hawaii with me? I got safe passage. I'm about to meet up with the boat. They about to come pick me up. Come with me. Y'all can be refugees in Hawaii because realistically, where are you going to go after this? You meet up with your fam, but then where y'all going after that? I doubt that they could go back to Kauai because that's the first place that probably the king is going to look because that's where they were previously. So while J-Mo is preparing to finally leave, I think it's probably like the next day or something morning. He's, walking towards the mouth of the cave and he sees a lot of old guns and weapons and stuff that's not from anywhere in Hawaii. And so he asks about them. And the princess says that those are left behind from an incident that happened when Cook and the Palefaces came to the island. And now Cook is who the English sailor, the English captain mentioned. So I'm assuming that Cook is probably another English captain that maybe came up on the island and tried to start some stuff or tried to claim it. There was an attack. And J-Mo's like, the Palefaces were defeated easily aside from their weapons. They had weapons, but we defeated them easily. Because obviously they're probably not trained in like hand-to-hand combat like Hawaiians are. That's kind of where that came from. And I'm interested to kind of hear more about that, about what happened there. But it sounded like it was a battle that, J-Mo was around for. So it must have happened maybe when his father was still alive and they were serving together on the war council for King Unk. So Princess is like, aren't you worried that more pale faces are gonna come? And he like, nah, my worries are right here at home. I'm just trying to get safe and get my family safe. So they leave, they're gonna go meet up with the fam, and Princess comes with them so that, they're gonna go with her to meet up and catch a ride with her to Hawaii. We come upon the English crew. They're foraging, they're washing, picking apples and fruit, and trying to get what they get so they can get out of there. Two Mauians kind of stumble upon one of the English sailors and they knock him out and they like checking him out. They touching his hair and his clothes. They're like, where did you come from? You're obviously not from here. And they see his gun, they take his gun. And then meanwhile, J-Mo and the princess stumble upon their camp as well. And it's kind of a standoff because neither side knows what the other side wants. So J-Mo and the princess are standing there kind of talking to themselves, talking to each other in their language. And then the Englishmen are like, oh my God, what do we do? One idiot, one of the crew members, pulls out his rifle and aims it at them. Princess is like, look at them. They don't look well. They dirty, they thin, they look like they're emaciated. Like, I think that they're just here because they're trying to, they're suffering, they're undernourished. They just trying to get some supplies. They're replenishing. And J-Mo's like, well, if that's the case, then why rat face over there got a stick pointed at me? So they're wary or whatever. The captain is like, dude, put the gun down.
What are you doing? Marley, put the musket down. You made us like brought the whole island down on top of us.
And everybody in a however many mile radius heard that gunshot. Prince, you can see Prince and right hand. They like, oh shit, I heard it. Where's it coming from? So you've alerted everyone on the island to our presence now. Idiot. Captain tries to apologize.
We mean you no harm, right?
Because that Maui guy who had stole the gun previous from one of the crew members was sneaking up behind him. So he's in effect saved his life, the captain's life. Princess and J-Mo are like, look, whatever going on here, we got our own problems. We're gonna go ahead and sweep right on through. And so they keep going. Captain is like, you know what? We gonna head out. This is a great time to go ahead and go.
We're getting off this island.
So they loading up the ship. J-Mo then later gives the necklace, his necklace that he always wears, and it looks like it's like teeth, like maybe bones or teeth or some really long nails, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he gives his necklace to the princess and he's like, look, go meet up at this location with my family. Give this necklace to my wife. She'll know what it means. I'm gonna lead the troops away because that shot, they all headed right here. You go get the fam. I'll meet up with y'all if I can. So we catch up with the fam. They're, waiting at the spot and they're like, look, we gotta go, man. Like, J-Mo taking too long. What if he got caught? So they're trying to decide if they should stay or leave. And the brothers kind of tussle. Big little brother and little big brother kind of start tussling with each other. Princess comes at that very moment and she's like, hey, are you wifey? Yeah, your husband told me to give you this. Look, girl, he might make it, he might not, but y'all need to come with me. He is cool or whatever. So wifey is like, bet, I'm sure her and her husband already had contingency plans and agreements in place. She knew exactly what the assignment was. So they load up, they meet up with the princess's ship or whatever. Princess says goodbye to her mom, and as they're boarding the ship to get ready to go sail off to Hawaii, a lost crew member from the English ship walks up, and he don't look like he in the best condition.
Lost. I'm lost. My crew.
And so Princess decides to take him by the hand and take him aboard their ship to Hawaii. Wifey and the fam are like, girl, we don't know him. But she's like, that's her. She's helpful. She's already thinking like a queen, and I like that about her. So we're going to see what happens with her. J-Mo is still running. The troops is on his ass. Right hand in him is right there. And he comes to a cliff. So now it's, all right, turn to fight. Right hand gets there first. Prince sees from afar and he's like, oh shit, there he is. So he and his forces are trying to run to intervene. J-Mo takes on and defeats several of the troops, in hand-to-hand combat. But eventually he gets overpowered because, of course, it's several of them and one of him. Right hand is so excited. I mean, you can see he is practically salivating that they finally got him. And he walks up to it's a couple of guys holding J-Mo back, and right hand walks up like he is ready to deliver the killing blow. And you could just see the gleam in his eye. But right as he approaches, Prince gets there and he's like, whoa, whatever, hold up. And so him and J-Mo kind of stare each other down. And it's like, okay, what you gonna do? He jumps off the ledge, and while he jumps, he knocks right hand into the water too. So he like, look, I'm taking you with me. Shit, let's go. And so they fall into the water. Prince is standing up there and he's like, well, go find his body. We'll bring his bones back to Oahu to the king. I guess, whatever. So he's assuming that, I guess, given the height of the fall and maybe it was rocks, I don't know, but he's assuming that he probably didn't survive that fall. So he orders him to find J-Mo's body and take it back to Oahu. Final scene is that we see J-Mo jolts awake and he's kind of in the ship of the English sailors. They apparently found him. He was floating, he was drowning. And as they were, setting sail, leaving the island, they picked him up along the way as a repayment for him saving the captain's life. So they were trying to do a good thing because he probably would have drowned. He would have died. He was unconscious and whatever.
Hoi! Maui!
It's all right, lad. All right, you're safe with us. We're not turning back. All right, we got furs in the cargo. We got winds to push to the open sea. You'd be dead if we didn't help. So consider it a favor returned.
What the hell? Like, you saved my life, but I'm not trying to go where y'all go. I need to go home. Like, I got a life. I got family. Like, so J-Mo is on the ship with these English sailors who don't speak his language. He didn't know anything about these people, where they're going, where they're taking him, and how he's going to get home. But he's got to get home, right? Can you swim for it? Can you drop him off like around the other side? Like something, so we'll see what's going to happen. But that's where it ends off. And of course, I'm intrigued. We didn't see a lot of King Unk in this episode, which is fine because he sucks. And I think he's definitely going to get his comeuppance But also, who is this chief that Princess is going to go marry? And how is all of that in the Kingdom of Hawaii going to come into play with this ongoing war that's now starting between Oahu and Maui? So we'll see what happens next. Let me know what you guys think and if you're invested and what your predictions are for the next show. And I'll see you next time. Bye.